Hello, my name is Phindile Yende and I'm the author of the book, Yet You Married Him. So I wrote this book, Yet You Married Him, because of my own personal experience. As a young woman in my late 20s, I fell in love with the idea of marriage. And not only that, I only succumbed to the pressures of society, whereas as a woman, when you reach a certain age, you're supposed to get married, or after you've accomplished certain things, such as your studies, such as material things, then it's an age for you to actually be with somebody and start a family. And not only that, I was also at an age where I wanted to be a mother so much. And because of that, when my ex-husband approached me and I saw this wonderful idea of a husband in him, then I agreed to marry him. Yet the signs were always there about whether this marriage would work or not. But because of all these things I've mentioned, I ended up marrying him. And that's why I decided to write the book, to share my experience with women who are also in love with the idea of getting married, women who succumb to societal pressure, and not only that, men as well, that also are going through their own things but end up getting married without finding who they truly are. So this book is about different characters of men, and these are men that we all come across at some point in our lives, whether you were married to him, whether you are married to him, or whether it's a man that you're currently dating. These men all display different characters, different personalities, different values. And for you as the reader, I would want you to be able to identify which man that you are actually married to. Because that kind of man, who he is right now, is the same man that he will be when you are married to him. Yet You Married Him is a title that initially, when I thought about it, I was writing it for myself. But as I was writing the book, I realized just how many women would be able to identify with it. Because so many of us, we get into these marriages knowing all the signs, and yet we marry them. So these characters of men are men that we've all come across in our life somewhere, and especially in our Black community. These are men that have personalities and characters because of their backgrounds, because of what they have been socialized into, and as well, it's men that when you have conversations with women and you realize that these kind of characters actually exist, and you're not the only person who has actually found yourself being with this kind of a man, but so many women have also been with this kind of a man, where I would write about a certain character and I'd be thinking that, oh, this is actually a certain man that I crossed paths with even when I was still a young girl. So these are characters that I've always come across, and the people in my life have come across, and many women that I've engaged with have come across. What I'd like people to get out of the book is they need to be true to themselves, especially women. Do not get into marriage for the wrong reasons, because the problems that you're having now in your marriage could be the problems that could cause you to divorce 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line. You know the saying that women get into a marriage with the hope that the man is going to change, and men get into the marriage with the hope that the woman won't change. So this book basically says, be aware of the signs, take them seriously. I'm not saying that we should not get married, or we should always be very cautious when we enter into the union. However, you need to be truly honest with yourself that when you enter this marriage, will you be able to withstand the pressures that come with it? will you be able to be with that man for life? Because marriage is meant to be for life. So when the signs are there, and you know, and you're true to yourself, that it's signs that you'll be able to live with, then stay in the marriage. But if you know that those things are things that you will never be able to stand them within your marriage, then do not be a woman who will one day say, yet you married him. I started writing the book within 6 months of my marriage. Yes, I knew then that my marriage wasn't going to last a lifetime. When I got married, I had the hope that it would, because I went to the marriage with the intention to change my ex-husband. Because I knew even then that there were so many signs that were just red alerts that when I get into this marriage, it might not work, but I still went ahead with it. So within the 6 months, that's when I actually said to myself that, Phindi, yet you married him. And it took me a while to write the book, because I'd have long intervals within my marriage where I would just stop writing. Could even take even more than a year. And then I'd go through really tumultuous time in my marriage, and that's when I'd start writing and remind myself that the signs were there, and yet I'm still in this marriage, yet I'm still married to him. And for me, it took a whole 6 years, because I actually finished writing the book after my separation. I went through different emotions when I was writing the book, because at times I'd be very happy within my marriage. At times I'd be absolutely miserable within my marriage. And it would depend at that time when I'm writing what I was going through within my marriage. A lot of tears on the pages. A lot of funny moments in the pages, and a lot of happy times as well in the marriage, but mostly painful times, because oftentimes when I did write, it was a moment when I would be saying to myself, Phindi, yet you married.